City Learners TV, learning made simple. Welcome back to the City Learners class with me, Samuel Adegoke. In this class today, we're going to be looking at exponential equations. In my previous video, which was the teaching 4 on the series of indices, I promised that we're going to be looking at this topic still under the series of indices, exponential equations. What are exponential equations? Exponential equations are the type of equations whereby indices or exponents are involved. A type of equations in mathematics whereby you see powers, whereby you see indices. And I have about 5 examples here, 5 questions written here that we are going to be solving together. But in this video, I am going to concentrate on the first three questions, and subsequently I'm going to do a video on the last 2 and even possibly add more questions to it. So before we proceed, I would like you to go and watch my video on equations so that you can get better understanding on what equations are. And also on this series of indices for better understanding, I've done the foundational class on these indices where I explain the laws of indices. I have solved several examples under the series of indices. And now this is another class on the same series. So let's get into business. The first question I have here is question A, and it says I have 2 having the power of x and I have 8 on the other side of the equation. This is an equation. How do I know a mathematical expression that is an equation? How do I identify an equation in mathematics? It's simple, okay? If a mathematical expression is given, if an expression is given in mathematics, the moment you see an equal sign in the expression, you should know that that expression is an equation. And an equation always have 2 sides, the left-hand sides and the right-hand sides. How do I know which is the left-hand side and which is the right-hand side of an equation? From the equal signs to the left part of that equation is called the left-hand side. And from the equal signs, this sign, to the right-hand side is what we call the right-hand side. So these are the 2 parts or 2 sides that equations can have in mathematics. So this type of equation written on the board is called an exponential equation. Why is it called exponential equation? Because one of the terms or factors in the equation has power. 2 has the power of x. And what am I expected to do if I am to solve this kind of equation? Okay, the first thing you should always take note of when you are giving an exponential equation to solve, you must be sure that you make both sides of the equation to have common basis. Okay, you must ensure that both the left hand side and the right hand side have common basis. This question written on the board, you can see that we have 2 as base in the left hand side, and then we have 8 as base on the right hand side. 2 is having power of x and 8 is having power of 1, though not written. Don't forget, whether you put 1 here or not, 8 is having an invisible power of 1. And you can see that the 2 bases are not common. So the first thing you try to do is to ensure that both sides have common basis. How do we achieve that? We have to express 8 as a power of 2. What do I mean by that? You are going to look at the number of times you can multiply these 2 to give you 8. And simply put, if I multiply these 2 by itself 3 times, I will simply get 8, which is on the other side of the equation. Okay, 2 multiplied by itself 1, 2, 3 times give me this 8. In other words, 2 having the power of 1, 2, 3 multiplied by itself in 3 places is what gives me 8. So what I have done now is that I have expressed 8 as a power of 2. 2 being multiplied by itself 3 times to give me the 8. So I will come back to my question and replace this 8 with 2 raised to power 3. The next step will be I bring down my 2 raised to power x with my equal sign. Then I will replace 8 with 2 raised to power 3. 2 raised to power 3. In this way, I have successfully made both sides to have common bases. 2 on the left hand side and 2 on the right hand side. So what next am I supposed to do? I will simply cancel the bases since they are common and they are equal. So having cancelled the 2 bases, what do I have left? I have x equals to 3. So the value of x in this equation, in this exponential equation, is simply 3. Kindly take note of that. Okay. Question B says that we have 4 having the power of x, and on the other side of the equation we have 16. Just the same method we applied on the first question. The first thing to look out for is how to make both sides have common basis. Okay, we are going to express 16 as a power of 4. Expressing 16 as a power of 4. That is, how many times can we multiply 4 by itself to give us 16? And that will simply be 4 multiplied by 4, which is 16. And that is the same thing as 4 having the power of 1, 2. So I'm going to be replacing 16 with 4 raised to power 2 in the next step. So I have 4 raised to power x on this side, and then on the other side of the equation I have 4 raised to power 2. Because 4 having the power of 2 is the same thing as 16. It simply means 4 times 4, and that is 16. So the same way I cancel the basis here, since we have common basis, I simply cancel the basis, and then I'm left with x equals to 2. Final answer. Question C says that we have 3 having the power of x plus 1 equals to 27. Okay, let me clean up this other part. 3 having the power of x plus 1 equals to 27. Just the same principle. Ensure you have common basis on the 2 sides of the equation. How do we achieve that? By expressing this other side of the equation, 27, as a power of 3. That is, how many times do we multiply 3 to get 27? And that is 3 times 3, 9, times 3 is equal to 27. 27, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. In other words, 3 multiplied by itself 3 times, 1, 2, 3 equals 27. So I'm going to be replacing 27 with this index form. So my next step will be 3 having the power of x plus 1 equals to 3 having the power of 3. 3 having the power of 3 is the same thing as 27. So the next step is to cancel out the basis. We have achieved common basis, and the next step will be that I write down what is remaining. X plus 1 equals to 3. This is not the final answer. So we are going to group the unknown value to the left side of this equation, and then while we group the known value, the unknown value to the left side, then the known value to the other side. How do I do that? I write down my x here to the left side of the equation, separated by equal signs. And then in my previous video on equation, I've explained this before. If a number having positive sign is being moved to the other side of the equation, that movement will change its sign. In this case, plus 1 is going to the other side of the equation to become minus 1. Okay, so 3 is already on the side of the equation, so it's 1 that we are moving to it. So 1 changes to minus 1 from plus 1, and from here x equals to, if I take 1 away from 3, my answer will simply be 2. So my final answer is 2. X equals to 2. So I'm going to be stopping the class here. In the next video, I will solve the remaining 2 and possibly add one more question to it. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to this channel, click on the notification bell, and ensure you comment on how you feel about this class. Thank you very much for always coming to educate yourself on this channel. Bye.